Charlotte Motor Speedway. They're lean, they're mean, they're 5 to 7 horses, a man and machine. They're 4 wide before they start to slip and slide. The Coast to Coast Racing League 350A Modifieds, Pro Late Models, and the 360 Sprint Cars.
We are live on the Coast to Coast Racing Network. I'm Zach Chapman with Shaggy TV, and we are here bringing you Hometown Heroes presented by Flatline Racing Bodies here at Eldora Speedway. Not a huge crowd tonight, but still got some heavy hitters out here. Got the high side banger Patrick Spangler. Got Soupy Dan McLaren. We have Blake Chapman in the house. Also, a lot of guys that could show up and steal this thing. Brad Waite in the 814. He's another guy to keep your eye on here for sure, but pretty sure they were just waiting on me to go live. We experimented with the dirt mini stocks. That was a lot of cautions in that one, so that one took a little bit of time, so guys are probably still rolling over here. Trying to wake up, get the motor warm, and get ready to get rolling. But right now, not a whole lot happening or a whole lot to talk about. It's week number 1 here, so whoever I should, you can't, I guess, say that officially here, but odds are whoever wins this race leaves your point leader here. But like I say, you can't guarantee that with incident points. You don't really know how it's going to look, so as of now, you're just going to have to wait to get the official word, but go with your gut. If you win this week, you're probably the points leader as of now. But, you know, these guys, especially the 39, I mean, they're so aware of those incident points, do their best to avoid them, and I imagine the 20 of Blake Chapman and the 39 of Patrick Spangler will try their best to ride around with a 0X and still finish towards the front here at Eldora. But like I say here, as of now, just waiting for these guys to get everyone in here, get the show on the road. I think they were waiting on Mr. Jeff Barker to join up. I think he just joined in the room. I see him added to the list, so Jeff Barker, Greg Boydell coming in. So it looks like as of now we're going to have 15. Not too sure if we'll get anyone else to show up here tonight or not. Let's see, is there anybody in the other practice room running around right now? No, right now there's absolutely no one on the track, so getting a little aerial view here right now. Brad Wade is slowly rolling in the pits, I think. Yes, that is him. Here comes Jeff Barker, the Brewerton Beast, in that 513 machine. Right now, those cameras aren't going to do the real justice. The guys are still kind of committed to the bottom, but we're going to have some fun with those turn cameras later, that's for sure, when these guys start ripping that high side and misbehaving a little bit. But 513, he got his warm-up laps there. He feels pretty good here, he says. Going to take her back to pit road, and well, for now, that 513, you gotta love his pit crew there. That those outfits, the lumberjack almost outfit, the work boots there, the blue jeans, but those almost look like designer blue jeans. I don't know how to feel about those blue jeans. You know, that almost looks like a magazine cover set of blue jeans. Doesn't really look like somebody's been working hard in the pits all night. But that flannel jacket, I mean, can't go wrong with that flannel jacket. I've got that same jacket in my closet. You know, being a hillbilly from Pennsylvania, it's almost a requirement to have one of those jackets. So let's see here. Let's see who's pulling out. Who's going to grace us with their presence here? Is that Cale Nisley? Yes, it is. See what Cale's got in this 23 machine right now. He's still waiting to roll. Like I say, not too sure what we're waiting on. I think as I take a look at the schedule, the earliest, it says it will roll at 7:30, I believe, if the cars are ready. Now the next one, the 410s, that will roll at 8:30 at the earliest. So if you're out there watching and you're not able to make it into this one, well, you know, don't get upset. Turn that computer on. You can still come run some 410s with us. This is a two-show throughout the season here. We'll always run a doubleheader, 360s and 410s. So the 410s, gotta love them. I've learned a lot listening to Blake and Patrick talk about those 410s, how you can limit the power in those, and it's just different ways to try to tame that beast. But got a new guy coming in here, not familiar with this name, the 128 Ryder McCutcheon. I'm going to go with, I'm guessing that is McCutcheon. We'll see when he gets out on the track. We'll try to take a look at that car, but well, he's going to have to wait to get out on that track because we're rolling over. We're going into qualifying here. So See who the first car is out on track right now. Looks like it's Corey Denson. Let's hop on board. Let's see what Corey Denson's going to do in this 91. Set to take the green flag. At the bottom of the screen, green's going to be your best personal sector. Yellow's going to be bad. You don't want that. That's worse than your best personal sector. And purple, that's what you want. You want that quick time. You want to be faster than everybody in the room. And right now, Patrick Spengler is that man in the second sector. You see it there, purple, as he takes over the pole in the 39. Corey Denson P2, but not for long. Dan McLaren takes it over. Let's see the high side banger on the low side right now. Improves in Sector 1, is slower through Sector 2. Ryder McCutcheon, the new sheriff in town, sitting on top of the speed charts right now in that 128 machine. Does he improve? No, he does not. He's going to have to stay with that first lap. But, oh, look at these guys. Look at that top three. We're going to have to cheat. I've got to pull up Iracing to see what the actual gap is here. Look at this. I mean, these guys. This is one of the best qualifying sessions we've seen. We're going to pull up the results here. So those are the times. Ryder with a 15.525, 5.33, and a 5.35. So, like I say, there is a new sheriff in town, and his name is Ryder McCutcheon. What an impressive big-time lap for Ryder. It's first time I've seen him out here on the circuit. And to be able to come in and knock off the 39 and the 20 with one swipe of the paw there. We'll have to see what he can do. And heat race number 1 here. Once again, big shout out to Flatline Racing Bodies for sponsoring Hometown Heroes this year. Can't put on the broadcast, can't have all this fun that we like to have without that sponsorship. So, huge shout out to Flatline Racing Bodies. But enough of the business talk. Let's get ready to show you your starting grid here, and it's going to look a little something like this. Starting on the pole is that 7, 8, 9 of Cale Bixler, and to his outside, Brian Moore Jr. Inside of row number 2 is senior there, Papa Brian Moore Sr., and to his outside, the pole sitter, Ryder McCutcheon. Inside of row number 3 in that 41 machine is going to be Pat Boyce, and to his outside in the 014, we've got GJ Greg Boydell. Should only be one pace lap here, I'd imagine. As the lights are off and we roll through turns 3 and 4, and we should go green this time by as the green flag is high. It's ready to fly. 6 laps in heat number 1 at Eldora Speedway. We're racing. Cale Bixler looking steep right away, but look at the Moores making a little Moore sandwich here as Brian Moore Sr. on the bottom. He's trying to go 2 for 1, able to get by both. Oh, but Brian Moore Jr., he's involved in an accident. Him and Pat Boyce, that's going to ruin their heat race. Ryder McCutcheon also involved. Back up front, Cale Bixler. Only a 2-man race here is that 7, 8, 9. Just trying to keep that 5.58 in his sights. Cale Bixler doing his best to run that bottom in 1 and 2, but Brian Moore Sr. carries all that speed off the top shelf right now as Brian Moore Sr. looks to be too tough to tame right now in that 5.58. 2 sticks in the air, 2 more times around. Greg Boydell in P3 looks to have that firmly locked. Brian Moore Jr. doing his best to run him back down after that early mistake, and Pat Boyce rounding out the field here in 5th. But white flag in the air 1 more time around for your top 2 is Cale Bixler trying to run down that 5.58 of Brian Moore Sr., but he is going to run out of time through 3 and 4. Checkered flag in the air for the 5.58 of Brian Moore Sr. is Brian Moore, followed by Cale Bixler, Greg Boydell, Brian Moore, and Pat Boyce. Ryder McCutcheon had to call the night early there in heat race number 1, so after a phenomenal first qualifying effort, he is going to have his work cut out for him here come feature time. Heat number 2 looks a little something like this. Starting on the inside of row number 1, we have the 91 of Corey Denson. And to his outside, in the 23, Cale Nisley. Inside of row number 2, the 88 of Soupy Dan McLaren. And to his outside, the high side banger, Patrick Spangler. The inside of row number 3, we have the 75 of Steven Bixler. And his outside in the 033, John Morano. Sorry, trying to fine-tune some details here. That's my apologies for the quietness. But the green flag is high, and it's ready to fly here for heat race number 2 as the 91 of Corey Denson brings us to the green flag, and we're racing at Eldora Speedway. Dan McLaren wasting no time going to the bottom there, and the high side banger, Patrick Spangler, well, he's doing what he knows best, right up to that top shelf, trying to go the long way around as he kisses the wall. Patrick Spangler able to clear Dan McLaren as Dan McLaren gets a little kiss from the 91 of Corey Denson. Dan McLaren able to get up in line behind the high side bangers. 2 laps in the books, 4 to go here at Eldora. Patrick Spangler doing his best to stay as smooth as he can here, but right now, Cale Nisley, he is quick out front. He is just as smooth, putting in lap after lap of quick times, but quickest lap of the race just got laid down by Dan McLaren in that 88. Dan McLaren is hungry, but look at that slide job from the 39, side by side at the line. 2 to go. Cale Nisley looks to counter back. Whoa! Late slider, Patrick Spangler able to look back underneath. Oh, Cale Nisley's going to lose 2 spots for 1. White flag in the air, final time around. Cale Nisley looking back low under the 88 of Dan McLaren. Dan McLaren sticking it up on the top shelf, running down the backstretch. Final time through 3 and 4. Not going to be able to make a move. The high side banger, Patrick Spangler, wins heat race number 2, followed by Soupy, Dan McLaren, Cale Nisley, Corey Denson, Steve Bixler, and John Morano. What a race up front. Really, really spoiled us. There was some good action. Heat race number 3, the final heat of the night. Gonna look a little something like this. Starting on the pole on the inside of the front row in the 70, Mike Cramner. Into his outside in the 513, the Brewerton Beast, Jeff Barker. Inside of row number 2, the 814 of Brad Wade. Into his outside, the salesman, Blake Chapman. Rounding out the field in the 56 this evening, we've got Randy Shreves. And, you know, nobody wants to finish P5 in this heat because, well, that's the last starting spot here in the feature. So, guys going to do their best to try and not finish in that spot, but the pace car, oh, we are going to go around one more time here as Barker is in this race. It's probably a little hard for him to try to reach down and clear that, but final heat race of the night shouldn't have a B main as everybody is in the field, so after this, you know the deal, we'll take that quick break. But now the pace truck should be pulling off this time as the green flag is high. It's ready to fly as the 70 of Mike Cramner brings us to racing action at Eldora Speedway. Oh, Mike Cramner tightens up on entry. He's going to go from 1st to 4th that quick as, look at him, you could throw him under a blanket. The 814 of Brad Wade, he throws the haymaker. Didn't get into the 513 of Jeff Barker, but scared him enough that he backed out of it, cranked the car up the track, and, well, Jeff, he's going to lose 2 spots there. loses the lead to Brad Waite. Now Brad Waite, he loses the lead that he just took from Jeff Barker to the salesman Blake Chapman. Blake ripping that lip. You know, if anybody can run that high side, Blake's good at it, but he's not known for it. He'd be the first to tell you he loves to run that bottom, but just showing you that means that's how fast that high side is right now. If Blake doesn't want to run it, man, there's just too much speed up there. I mean, if Blake doesn't want to run the bottom, he's the first person to hop down there if it's even close to even. Just the rest of the field, you see high side battle here for fourth. Mike Cramner getting passed by Randy Shreves. Tries to throw a big slide job here. Randy has to go up the track. He gets in the wall. White flag out. Final time around for your leader, Blake Chapman, as he comes down the backstretch through 3 and 4. Checkered flag in the air. Blake Chapman's going to start P3 in the feature. Brad Waite second. Jeff Barker third. Mike Cramner fourth. Randy Shreves going to start last here in the feature, as we're going to take a quick break here on the Coast to Coast Racing Network, and we will be right back with more racing action. Stick around.
For another edition of Iracing Trackside, powered by Bob Johnson Auto Group on Rock Sports Network. Kiss on the champion, trying to be a bit of a hiatus, so let's get.
Tonight when we talked about it.
As we are back on the Coast to Coast Racing Network, I'm Zach Chapman here with Shaggy TV, and we're getting ready to bring you tonight's feature action right now. The high side banger, Patrick Spangler, is that man at the top of the charts. You're going to see plenty of this car here tonight. You know else you're going to see plenty of this thing too. Be a nice zoomed in look at that 20. Blake Chapman, he is going to be all over that 39. Oh, excuse me there. Blake Chapman just took the top time on the speed charts, and, you know, we sold him out to the world here. You got to see that line when he did it. I told you, if there was any speed on the bottom, the kid was going to go find it, and, well, he found it. And he saved it there till the end of warm-up, stole that lap time, and keep an eye out on the 20 here tonight. Is, you know, this guy in the 128, Ryder McCutcheon here, we saw him get tangled up in his heat race, but after that pole time, that's another guy who, well, you're just going to have to keep an eye on him. As let's get ready, and we'll show you tonight's RSN trackside starting lineup here for tonight's 25-lap feature event here at Eldora Speedway. Starting on the pole, the 558 of Brian Moore Sr., and to his outside in the 39, the high side banger, Patrick Spangler. Inside of row number 2, the salesman, Blake Chapman, and to his outside, In the 789, Cale Bixler. Inside of row number 3, Soupy Dan McLaren into his outside, Brad Waite. Inside of row number 4, GJ Boydell and his outside, Cale Nisley. Inside of row number 5, the Brewerton Beast, Jeff Barker into his outside in the 09, Brian Moore Jr. Inside of row number 6 in a 91, Corey Denson into his outside in the 70, Mike Cramner. Inside of row number 7, the 41 of Pat Boyce into his outside, the Mayor, Stephen Bixler. Inside of row number 8, Randy Shreves into his outside, Ryder McCutcheon. Rounding out the field tonight, but not making the grid, John Morano. So not too sure here if we're going to get to see John tonight. But if not, I'm sure we'll see him around more this season. As John is Anthony Morano's father, and you know, is not kind of similar to me. Not the best in anything he's in, but I would say, you know, he's a top 10 car in a lot of what he's in when he can hold it together. And we're going to see a lot more John throughout the season. But as the pace car is ready to pull off, we've got 16 drivers ready to shred here at Eldora Speedway. Green flag is high. We're racing. Look at them all storm off into turn 1 as somebody, Cale Bixler, and that's 789. He ate the wall early, able to keep rolling on, but battle for the lead, 3 wide as the salesman goes downstairs and the high side bangers up top. Brian Moore Sr. finds himself in the middle right now, the odd man out as the high side banger rolls on by, and Blake Chapman, rolls that bottom like the kid knows how. Look at the battle up front. Blake just eating that bottom, the high side banger, letting that right rear ride against the wall as the 39 goes down and slams the door shut. Caution is out. Steve Bixler. We are clicking on the wrong replay here 3 times in a row. We are going to get this. Here we go. Let's take a look. Let's see what happens to the Mayor here. Is there trouble in front of Steve Bixler? Looks like there is. Okay, so Pat Boyce gets into it with Ryder McCutcheon. Pat comes up the track. Steve Bixler with nowhere to go. Hard into the wall, goes around, and well, we're going to go. We're going to see if we can't see what happens from Ryder McCutcheon's point of view here. He's on the bottom, Pat Boyce. They're just 4 wide. I mean, Pat did hold his line. Ryder probably thought he was going to go up, that there was more room, but Pat's not going to be happy about it. But man, all in all, I think that is, you know, that's racing. I mean, you're just running out of real estate. Ryder trying to move up through the field, all of a sudden finds himself 4 wide, and well, that's how quick it can happen here. Is the high side banger comes up and says hi to our camera here. Let's see, do we got any other takers going to come up and give us a little wave? Hopefully they don't give us any Chapman salutes anytime any of my dad or uncles ever passed each other on the road. You can imagine they didn't. There was one finger in the air, so wasn't necessarily the most appropriate wave, but you know, when you're 8 and 9 years old, you think it's hilarious. But pace truck is going to be off here at Steve King Foundation. Pace truck is Patrick Spengler, leads us to the green flag. Good jump for that 39. He tries to pull along Dan McLaren. His Soupy looks to the outside here, but he gets in the wall in the 814 of Brad Waite. He's trying to think maybe I can make a little move here. Goes to the top shelf through 3 and 4. Not able to get it done, but look at these guys. 4 wide here. Is Ryder McCutcheon there found himself in the middle. Man, oh, contact in front of him. Hold on, boys. That's Randy Shreves and Cale Bixler. My, oh my, where is the rest button? Because somebody needs to hit it and find it. These guys, man, are really letting it all hang out here, and we are not even halfway. We still have 19 laps to go. Here's Mike Cramner. Look at the moves he's trying to make back here. Blake Chapman back sniffing for the lead up front. He has turned in that gap. Patrick Spangler there kissing the wall. Let's watch him run down the backstretch. Patrick Spangler, look at how close he gets to that cushion here. These two right now, they are off in their own planet. But these guys back here, man, they're wishing they were up on that same planet. Still battling just as hard. Ryder McCutcheon here, back on that top shelf, trying to find his way around Cale Bixler. Gonna look underneath Cale Bixler as they were both able to get around Greg Boydell. Now he looked at Diamond underneath, finds himself side by side. Let's come up top here. Gonna throw a big slider, not enough room's gotta lift. Cale Bixler drives back around. Gonna throw it into 1 and 2, able to get up in front of Cale. Can Cale counter back here? Cale's looking, he's gonna send it into 3, he's gonna keep it in the middle. Ryder looking back underneath, side by side. Cale still has it at the line. Right now, Cale Nisley here, still in 3rd place, firmly holding on. Battle's starting to heat up here, though, for P4 as Brian Moore Sr. started up front, fell back to 5th, but finally starting to get his bearings back here in this 558. See if we can't find the cockpit view. Let's ride on board with Brian Moore Sr. as he tucks down here to the bottom. They're getting racy in front of him. Look at that move here. Brad Waite throws a slide job. They almost make contact. Look at the view we have here. Oh, Cale Nisley in the wall here in that 23. Able to pull it back down. No harm, no foul, it doesn't look like. Gonna go back up front here as this cushion's really starting to thin out. Patrick Spangler feeling the heat from the 20 of Blake Chapman. Blake Chapman's been committed to that bottom. You gotta think he's got a lot of right rear tire left. Was able to win 2 sprint car or 2 races last night on charity night. Or excuse me, I believe. Oh, caution is out. I know he won one of them for sure. I can't remember if he won both, but looks like the 814 of Brad Waite was running up towards the front there, P4. Let's see what happened. So they come down the front stretch, he throws it in. Oh, Cale Nisley got a little loose. They get into each other, and 3rd and 4th. Oh man, Cale Nisley, that's gonna break him. That's 2 cars done just like that. Tough break. He's back out front, that 39 of Patrick Spangler. Just trying to do what he can to hold on right now as lights are still on, so we will go around one more time here for sure. It's Patrick Spangler. No stranger to victory lane, but either is that car behind him, the 20 of Blake Chapman, so this one's far from over here yet on the Coast to Coast Racing Network. Not many laps yet, but I'll tell you what, there's a lot of excitement left here as you hear the spotter. Gonna go around one more time. Not gonna go green this time by. This is where, you know, everyone is on a fixed setup here. Hometown Heroes, it's not like Monday night. So fixed setup, everyone should have enough gas, even with the cautions extended. But if one person's scared, everyone's scared, because nothing you can do different than your compadres out there on the track is gonna wait. The pace lights are off this time, as you see on the Steve King Foundation pace truck, and that 39 of Patrick Spangler. He's hungry. He wants to start the season off with a win. He's going to try to see if he can do just that. He doesn't mind hearing about Galen's popcorn, but he wants to hear about it before his interview. His pace truck is off. The 39 leads us back to the green flag. We're going to have 8 laps to go here. the Coast to Coast Racing Network at Eldora Speedway. Gonna go come back up top here to the booth. I want to watch these guys side by side. It's going to be one of the better cameras we have here. As we really get to see that gap. I know there's going to be racing throughout the pack here. We want to try to watch that, but I gotta look at it. I gotta look at it. Randy Streets with a big boy move. Contact with the 88 of Dan McLaren. Gonna keep on rolling, but Dan McLaren, I think that broke something on that 88. He had hard up into the wall. No caution. No caution. He can't turn down into the pits. Still no caution.
The yellow flag is out.
Finally got a caution. But that's going to be in a totally unrelated incident here. Is caution's going to come out for, I believe, Greg Boydell. We went back, excuse me, way too far. That was the previous caution. I'm going to go check out Greg Boydell here. You see there, he drove by Dan McLaren. Get contact with Mike Cramner in the 70. He goes around, and we see Dan just grenaded that thing. And that's going to be a tough break for Greg. Probably going to... Not too sure how this 70 car looks. Let's see if we can get a look at that. Right front. It doesn't seem to be bouncing up and down too bad. No, there he is, even testing it out. Everything looks good on that 70. Right now, Patrick, this is probably, I mean, he's going to tell you that he just wants it to stay green, but realistically, probably every one of these advantage back to Patrick Spangler because he gets that little lap head start, basically. I mean, he starts are on the leader. It's not like Mario Kart where there's a 3, 2, 1 and everyone can time it at the same time. He's the leader. He's earned that right. So Blake, it normally takes him, at least half a lap to even up with Patrick to get that momentum. So every time a caution comes out, one less lap to go, and Patrick gets that advantage here. But Steve King Foundation pace truck is off. The 39 leads us back to the green flag. We're racing 5 to go at Eldora Speedway. Oh, Randy Shree's in the outside wall through 1 and 2, but he's able to hold off right now, Brian Moore. But Blake Chapman is now the time. 4 to go here at the line. Blake, if you've got anything, if you want to sell me some popcorn on the top step of the podium, you gotta find a way to pull it out of the bag. You gotta go get it now. Gonna go up to that top shelf, see if he can find some speed. But right now, that 31, he's got him by 0.4 of a second. This is gonna be a tough gap for that kid to make up. If anybody can do it, though, it's the salesman. Big run through 3 and 4. He cut that gap in half. 2 to go. Right on the back of the 39 here as we come out of 2. Does Blake make the move here? Now's the time. Slide job for the salesman. Side by side, white flag in the air. The 39's got to park it up in front of the 20. But Blake Chapman counters back with a big move through 3 and 4. Patrick can't shut the door. What's going to happen at the line? Side by side. Patrick Spangler beats him by a nose. What a finish here to open up Hometown Heroes at Eldora. Randy Shreves rounds out that podium. But my, oh my, what a finish here. We are going to pull up that white flag and we're going to go back here and we're going to watch it again. Right now, I mean, that's coming to the white flag. It looked like possibly advantage Blake. Patrick with a good slide job here. Blake tries to cut underneath. Gets a little sideways there. You see him have to correct. Going to lose a little bit of momentum, but here's where Patrick really got him. He set up that counter early, lifted, let him go underneath. Here he comes. And we are going to rewind here a little bit. My apologies. we are going to go to this camera. You are going to get a little iRacing Insider here, so my apologies. But we are going to see this battle, this finish at the line. Look at how close that was. Oh my. I mean, Patrick Spangler edges him out by, a front wing. What a finish here on the Coast to Coast Racing Network. Those guys really spoiled us here, and man, it's going to be tough to follow this up here the rest of the season, guys. But I wish you the best of luck. We're going to give these guys a minute or two to catch their breath here. Let me figure out exactly what's going on. And well, it looks like this man, Randy Shreves, is up here. So let me go pull him up. Hey, Randy, Shaggy up in the booth, man. You got a copy?
Yeah, got you, buddy.
Well, hey, man, you really had to earn that one. We're watching you right now on the restart. That wasn't the best restart for you. You got in the wall in 1 and 2. How'd the car feel after that? Was it okay?
Yeah, it didn't take on too much damage. It did say that I had a little damage, but I couldn't really feel it. Yeah, this is my first time back in the car in a couple months. Definitely happy to be on the podium. Definitely did have to earn that one. With Blake and Patrick up there, they're two of the best in the league. So, to run with them guys, that's all I can ask for.
Yeah, you basically said it there. At the end of the day, we're all drivers, man. We all want to win, but when you finish on the podium with them, hell, it's like beating pretty much everybody else, those guys, they're two of the best, and you were able to hang with them there even with that little bit of damage. So with it being your first time back in a couple months, Randy, we are glad to have you back, man. You're a big name around here, and I got a feeling you may be in the running here for a championship on Hometown Heroes if you can make all these races. What do you say?
Yeah, I'm hoping I can make most of the races anyway. I know with my work schedule, it's been a little tough, but I'm going to try to make it work and figure some things out. Hopefully I can finish up there in top 3 with them guys and have a good season.
Well, hey, hell of a job tonight, Randy. And that 56, you gonna pull the old 410 out here for us?
Yeah, I'm gonna see if I can knock the dust off of that thing. We'll see what I can do.
All right, man. Well, congratulations here. Big P3. You got anybody you want to thank?
Definitely want to thank everybody at Coast to Coast. You for the broadcast. I want to thank my son Dylan Shreves for painting my car. And I want to also thank everybody for watching.
Well, hell of a job, Randy, and hell of a job on that paint, Dylan, because I'm going to be honest with you. I was admiring that thing while I was talking to you. I really like that color combination. So your boy did a hell of a job on that paint, Randy. I don't know how much you paid him, but you might have to give him a raise here.
I think I might have to. He just started and he's pretty good. So, yeah.
Well, hey, good luck here in this next one, Randy. Looking forward to talking to you again, my man.
Yeah, I appreciate it, buddy.
That's your P3 finisher, Randy Shreves. And now we're going to bring up the man who, Blake, I had to slow that down on the replay. That was one of the best finishes we've ever had, man. Did you know right away that Patrick beat you to the line, or did you have to look down?
Yeah, I knew it. I could see his nose just peeking out in front of me there when we crossed the line, and I figured going into 3 there, I didn't quite get the run that I wanted to. I figured that he was going to be able to catch that grip in the middle and get around me, but it was honestly closer than I thought it would be there towards the end. So, yeah, just really happy to see a racy track tonight. With these fixed setups, you're never quite sure, especially at a track like at Eldora, where it seems like the top's just the fast way around all night long. But I don't know, I could just set the car into the corner really, really well tonight. Something with the setup, I guess, and getting it in there, setting it in like we could just keep it around the wall and keep it pretty smooth throughout the corner. Then this setup's got enough gear in it where you can drive off really, really well. So that kind of just kept us pacing with Patrick there, and as long as I could keep pace, I wasn't going to go up top because I've run with Patrick enough to know if I go up top with him, good luck catching him and getting around him for sure. So I was just hoping that his tires would wear off a little bit, and I was going to be able to catch him in the last laps. But yeah, definitely put up a pretty good fight there towards the end.
Yeah, and I know, Blake. I don't mean to kick you while you're down here. I know you love running that bottom, and you talked about, Patrick's so good up there. Well, I thought the same thing as you, and with 4 to go, I even said it over the broadcast. I was like, man, I don't think he's going to be able to get this up. You went up to that high side, and in one turn, there running that slider, we're watching it right now through 3 and 4, you ate up 2.5 tenths. So I'm telling you, kid, I think obviously I'm sitting up here, I'm not in the car, but man, I think if you go up top 1 lap earlier, I think you win this thing. You had a lot of speed in that machine tonight.
Yeah, for sure. Maybe if I went up a lap earlier, I could have got to him. But it's just one of those things. You're running the bottom of the whole race, and you go up top, and it's totally different than what it was when I was running it in the warm up. So it just took really a lap to get used to running up there and figuring out which where to hit my marks at up there, and figured out that slider line in the middle and the 3 and 4 really still had a lot of grip left, and 1 and 2 was around the cushion. So yeah, that's just a lot of fun tonight, though. Even though we came away with the second place.
Yeah, man, you guys put on one hell of a show. It was a great finish. Congrats, Blake. It's definitely not what you wanted, but all in all, pretty good points night with the guy who you're going to be going toe-to-toe with all season. So great job, man. Who you want to thank?
Yeah, I got to thank the parents for watching. I got to thank all the guys at KSR. I've got to thank Preston at Epsilon Sprint Wraps and Andy at AJ Custom Creations. Got to thank Malcolm's Mills Mill Writing too. And of course, I got to thank Galen's Gourmet Popcorn. They got some of the best stuff out there, you know that. And you can head over to their website, and don't forget to use code CART at checkout for 15% off. And I got to thank you for putting this on.
Well, hell of a job, Blake. Good luck here in the 410, my man.
Thank you.
That's your P2 finisher, Blake Chapman. And now we're going to bring up the man who, well, Patrick, you led most of the show here, but dude, at the end, that got a little tricky, man. Talk us through that last lap.
They had old Donnie Schatz behind me. They were on the bottom. I thought for sure Blake was going to get me sooner or later because I knew I was getting big runs off at 2, but 3 and 4, the top wasn't working, so I moved to the middle where that little tackness was, but he's making that bottom work. We got into the slider battle, and I knew when I slid him in 1 and 2, he's going to have shot 3 and 4, so I just kept it low. I tapped the brakes because I didn't know how close we were going to be whenever he slid me, and I just tried to turn it down underneath him and gas it down the tackness on the bottom of the straightaway, and got just barely enough to get him at the line.
Oh, yeah, dude, I know what to do in a car, but I can't do it like you, Patrick, and I ratted you out. I mean, that was a beautiful move. You clearly knew it was coming back, and I talked everyone through that there. You can see you jabbed the brakes, car kicked sideways, and you drove it right under him. I mean, that was textbook. And, maybe there at the end, if you're being honest, not the fastest car, dude, but when you know how to drive it like that and you can manipulate the car and get it around the cars around you, that's all you need to know how to do. And, Patrick, that was a hell of a job, man. This coming down here, we know how you and Blake are in the points. I know it's week 1, man, but it could come down to a 1/10 of a second win here.
Yeah, especially with the 4 tracks we have, because I feel like I've had the edge at Eldora and Knoxville, even though he was faster than me at the end of this race. But I know he's real quick at Volusia and Charlie usually, so it's going to be a fun points battle this year. I usually take the EOLs and the 360s, but I want to give it a shot at the championship. I'll
About
probably
time.
I'll probably do the EOLs and the 410s just to work up passing. So it was fun, though. That was a blast.
Well, hey, hell of a job, Patrick, man. One of the most exciting finishes I've ever called, that's for sure. You guys made it fun. Congratulations on the big win. Who you want to thank?
Just Roger for running the league. I think this season 24. Just I don't think there's any other league that comes close on iRacing. You for the awesome broadcast for all the leagues that you do each week. D&T Designs for the new little tweaks they did on my wraps for this season. And I'll go back home watching.
Well, hell of a job, Patrick, man. Way to start Hometown Heroes with a win. It was quite a statement, that move you made on Blake at the end. Hell of a job.
Thanks.
And that's your winner, Patrick Spangler in the 39. You see those guys battling it out. You know what? I never do this, but that was so good. Here it is. Here's the white flag lap one more time. I'm going to be quiet. Okay, I lied. That was coming to the. I can't tease you like that. Here's the white flag. Now I'm gonna be quiet. Best finish of the year. I mean, just side by side. Coming down the front stretch, Patrick beats him by a nose. We're going to take a quick break on the Coast to Coast Racing Network, and we'll be right back with more 410s here at Eldora Speedway. Stick around. Don't go anywhere.
It's time for another edition of Iracing Trackside, powered by Bob Johnson Auto Group on Rock Sports Network. Gets on the champion, trying to be a bit of a hiatus. So let's get.
Tonight we'll be talking about it.
These dollars had come together to support us, and we realized no, we didn't want to use them for us. We wanted to use them to help others.
The foundation has done so much for so many people. It helps any family that has somebody, whether it be a crew member or one of the drivers, that get hurt. We can help them to get through the situation.
I was injured in an on-wing sprint car accident that broke my neck and left me with a spinal cord injury. I was in the hospital 8 months, and that got really, really expensive, so having that extra help to help push me and my family forward was a big deal.
I was involved in a pretty gnarly sprint car crash, found out my brain was swelling and bleeding. Pelvic bone was broken, I had 2 cracked vertebrae on my back, and I was in the ICU a little over a week. The Steve King Foundation reached out to my parents. We received a donation from them. Immediately they started me on what's called neurofeedback, and insurance did not cover the neurofeedback appointments. So we received another donation from the Steve King Foundation. It really helped a lot, and I just want to say thank you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart to the Steve King Foundation for everything that they have done for me. This last Sunday, I got to turn laps in my modified here. That was my first laps back in a race car since the accident, and I truly believe that if it wasn't for the Steve King Foundation, I wouldn't be able to do that or be where I'm at today.
Yes, Steve's death is the reason the foundation exists, but it's Steve's life, and it's the lives of racers everywhere, is the reason we're able to do the work we do.
And we are back live on the Coast to Coast Racing Network. I'm Zach Chapman here with Shaggy TV, and we are here for race number 2, Flatline Racing Bodies Hometown Heroes, and we got the 410s, the big boys, ready to play here at the Big E. And man, we are gonna see fast times and really loose race cars here. Well, good to see this man back out here doing some dirt. A gambler teammate of mine, Jeffrey Kemper, in the 181. We haven't seen him out here in Hometown Heroes in a couple weeks. That's for sure. Nice to see that 181 out here on the track. Let's see who else we got in a couple different rooms here. We got the High Side Banger out on the track right now. That Tip City, Ohio native. Greg Boydell out here in the 014. Let's see, is there anybody in Dean Reynolds' room out there? Nope, just Jeff Kemper. So, about Blake Chapman's room? Nope. Is everybody right now saving their stuff here? Is this 39? He was feature winner number 1 on the night. Him and Blake Chapman, if you missed that race, you need to go back right now and look at the replay there of the last lap. Phenomenal side-by-side finish. The 39 just able to hold on. Maybe lucky that the feature was only 25 laps here tonight. If it was 26, we might have had somebody else on that top step, but the 39 there gonna park it on the inside, get ready to probably roll this thing over here, I'd imagine. We got Corey Denson out on the track right now. Dean Reynolds out there in the 79. See the cape hanging off the back. There's Superman Kurt Schatzer. Here we are, checkered flag waving on practice. We're going to get ready to roll in to qualifying here on tonight's 410 Flatline Racing Bodies sprint car event here at Eldora Speedway. Sorry, I blanked there. I wanted to say something about qualifying because that's what we're going into, and then I almost said feature. Kind of had some word vomit there. Well, there we're getting pretty lucky too. We were already on Dino. Dino looks to be the first one out here on the track. Him and Anthony Morano pretty close to the same time here, so gonna keep an eye on this 79 here for lap number 1. There's Dino there. He's gonna run the middle in 3 and 4. Anxious to see how this pays off. Is right now Patrick Spangler, purple. He takes quick time in the 39. Ryder McCutcheon in the 128. Right behind him. Let's follow him around here for lap number 2. Ryder slower through sector 1. Quickest through sector 2. Is it enough to give him the pole? No, he is going to improve, but he's going to have to stick with P2 for now on that 128. Brad Waite in the 814. Lap number 2 parks at P3. Corey Denson here on his second and final lap. Blake Chapman, quick time. The salesman on lap number 1. He's coming around here for lap number 2. Let's pick it up. Blake Chapman quicker through sector 2. Does he improve overall? No. Gonna slow down overall, but Blake Chapman showing that there's still some speed left out there, as that's gonna do it here for qualifying. All cars have put in their times. 19 cars qualified. Your top 5 is Blake Chapman, Patrick Spangler, Ryder McCutcheon, Brad Waite, and $100 grand, Joseph Grandy. Didn't realize we had Joseph Grandy in here. His name slipped me there on the warm-up charts. That's going to be someone who you definitely got to keep your eye on. 410's a little different than the 360s, but with the way that guy drives the 360, it definitely will translate the most part. And $100 grand, he knows how to get around here, but let's get ready here for heat race number 1, sponsored by Gambler Motorsports. On the inside of row number 1 and starting on the pole, the 56 of Randy Shreves, and his outside, the Ant-Man Anthony Morano in the 32. Inside of row number 2, in the 814, Brad Waite, and his outside, Blake Chapman. Inside of row number 3, in the 014, Greg Boydell, and it is outside, Brian Moore Jr. Rounding out the field tonight in the 7, Bob DeGood. Here's we should do a one and done here, just a little half pace lap, pace car pull in, and getting ready for heat race number 2 is Anthony Morano blinking a little bit on the high side. That's going to be a little scary for the salesman here as they're off. We're racing at Eldora. Randy Shreves running that bottom right now. Anthony Morano gets a good run out of 2. Going to send it into 3 and 4. Looking for the lead, but Randy Shreves has it at the line. Randy's going to keep it in the middle through 1 and 2. Anthony going to get a big run again off of 2. He's going to leave it on the top shelf through 3 and 4. Blake Chapman goes to the bottom here as he's trying to make it a 3-car race for the lead. Blake Chapman on the bottom through 1 and 2, ripping against that inside wall, side by side with the 32 of Anthony Morano. Blake trying to get that run out of 4, just can't find it. 2 slick there in the middle, 3 to go for these 3 up front. Brad Waite in the 814, loving watching these guys racing in front of him as he's slowly trying to tick into that gap. Randy Shreves out front here 2 more times around, starting to feel some pressure from the 32 Anthony Morano. Anthony's going to follow him into 3 and 4, going to drive it in a little deeper. Blake Chapman right up there against that wall, letting it eat. White flag in the air final time around. Who's going to win heat race number 1? Coming down the backstretch for the final time. The 56 of Randy Shreves leaves 3 cars in there, and he's going to lead them out. Heat race number 1 winner, Randy Shreves, followed by Anthony Morano, Blake Chapman, Brad Waite, Bob DeGood, Brian Moore Jr. Greg Boydell caught up in some early trouble. He's going to finish 7th here and round out the field in heat race number 1. Heat race number 2, sponsored by Regency Home Inspection, is going to look a little something like this. Starting on the pole, the 41 of Pat Boyce, and his outside in the 91, Corey Denson. Inside of row number 2, $100 grand, Joseph Grandy, and his outside, the high side banger, Patrick Spangler. This is the race of nicknames here. Inside of row number 3, rounding out the field, we've got the mayor, Steven Bixler, into his outside. I told you, you could see it flying around there earlier. He has the cape on tonight. Superman Kurt Schatzer. Joseph Grandy, though, that's going to be one of the guys I'd say keep your eye on that 518. He is going to have some speed, and Well, that 39 of Patrick Spangler, he's going to too. Not sure if he's going to ask for that feature EOL. I hope he doesn't. I like it when he starts up front. Pace car is off. We're getting ready to go racing here in heat race number 2. The 41 of Pat Boyce leads us to the green flag. Joseph Grandy there with a good run through 1 and 2. He's able to move up to P2. Patrick Spangler had to lift there. Is there 4 wide in the middle of 3 and 4. Patrick gets run up into the outside wall. Patrick's just got to lift to hold on. Joseph Grandy takes over the lead through 1 and 2. I told you to watch out for Hunter Grand. Joseph Grandy dropped the sails and he is off. That guy is just off into the sunset. Goodbye, adios, good night. Pat Boyce in the 41 here doing his best to just stay smooth here and hold on to P2 because these guys behind him are racing hard. Right now, Corey Denson has P3, but side by side behind him, Kurt Schatzer and Steve Bixler. Kurt Schatzer able to clear Steven Bixler on the outside, able to move up into P4. Now can he set his sights on that 91 and go to work? 1.5 more times around here as the white flag is in the air, this time by for Joseph Grandy. Joseph Grandy started 3rd, gonna finish 1st here as he goes down the backstretch for the final time through 3 and 4, letting it eat against the wall. Checkered flag in the air for the 518 of Joseph Grandy, followed by Pat Boyce, Corey Denson, Kurt Schatzer, Steve Bixler, and Patrick Spangler. Joseph Grandy still showing he had something left, still ripping it around, showing off that speed there in the 518. Heat race number 3, sponsored by Mauer Farm Management, looks a little something like this. Starting on the pole in the 558, Brian Moore Sr. into his outside, Clay Christopherson. Inside of row number 2, we have the 79 of Dean Reynolds into his outside in the 128, Ryder McCutcheon. Inside of row number 3 is the 181 of Jeffrey Kemper into his outside, rounding out the field in the 513. This is the Brewerton Beast, Jeff Barker. Oh, Dino, not sure if maybe he did a wheelie there. Or if he bumped someone. We're going to go with wheelie. Dino likes to pull some wheelies, so that's his story, and we're sticking to it here as they roll through 3 and 4. Steve King Foundation pace truck is off. The green flag is high. It's ready to fly. Final heat race of the night for the Flatline Racing Body's hometown heroes. Dino gets sideways there in 1 and 2, but able to hold on to P3. But up front, Brian Moore Sr. with the best start we've seen from a leader here tonight. Good run through 1 and 2, able to pull out to about a 3-4 car gap. Battle on for P3 here as Ryder McCutcheon sends it in, but there's company up there on the top shelf. Can't close the door on Dino just yet. He's got to go back downstairs. He's going to send it in. He's going to hold the middle. Dino looks under the 051 of Clay Christopherson. Put the 3 under a blanket here. Who's going to come out on top? Dino shows him the right rear, but he holds it in the middle of the track. Going to shut the door on the 051, but the 051 counters back underneath. Side by side down the backstretch for P3. Dino up there on the top shelf, high, wide, and handsome. Going to beat the 051 to the line. But looky up front here. I heard from a little bird that we've got a young buck in this car. And when I say young, I'm hearing around 13. But right now, he is showing that age. Well, that's just a number, Shaggy. I got a lot of speed in this thing. Trying to run down the 558. Final time through 3 and 4. Brian Moore is going to win heat race number 3, followed by Ryder McCutcheon, Dean Reynolds, Clay Christopherson, Jeff Barker, and Jeffrey Kemper rounding out the field. With that, we're going to take a quick break here on the Coast to Coast Racing Network, and we will be right back with feature racing action here, so stick around. Don't go anywhere.
another edition of Iracing Trackside, powered by Bob Johnson Auto Group on Rock Sports Network. Gets on the champion, trying to be a
Bit of a hiatus, so let's get. Right when we were talking about it.
We are back live on the Coast to Coast Racing Network here right now. Brad Wade atop the warm-up charts with Patrick Spangler and Ryder McCutcheon close in tail. Randy Shreves and Blake Chapman also within that 1/10 of a second. So right now a lot of guys who could be contenders here come race time. See what kind of line these guys are running. Let's park it up here in turn 4 right now. You see Blake, he's coming off pretty high. What's that? I like that. That was, I believe, Ryder McCutcheon ripping the lip there. Brad Waite coming around. Blake getting up close and personal, slinging some dirt on the camera there. I like that. That 20 ride. Turns 2, Steven Bixler getting up there. Corey Denson. Boom, Brian Moore. Look at that thing. But here we go as we get ready for the final race of the night here on the Coast to Coast Racing Network. Your feature lineup from RSN Trackside is going to look a little something like this. Starting on the pole in the 56 is Randy Shreves, and is outside in the 518, Joseph Grandy. Inside of row number 2, and the inside is in the 558 is Brian Moore Sr., and is outside Anthony Morano. Inside of row number 3 in the 41, Pat Boyce, and is outside in the 128, Ryder McCutcheon. Inside of row number 4, got Balake, Blake Chapman, the salesman, into his outside in the 91, Corey Denson. Inside of row number 5, the 79 of Dean Reynolds, and is outside the 814 of Brad Waite. Inside of row number 6, Superman Kurt Schatzer in the 218, and is outside in the 051 Clay Christopherson. Bob DeGood rolls off in the Baker's Dozen spot into his outside, the Mayor Steve Bixler. Jeff Barker rolls off on the inside of row number 7 into his outside, Brian Moore Jr. Inside of row number 9, the high side banger, Patrick Spangler, and is outside the 181 of Jeffrey Kemper. Rounding out the field this evening in the 014 is GJ Boydell. Here as we roll around for the final time before we go green flag. I didn't give a pick last race. But if I'm being honest, I probably would have went with Blake. He didn't win. I'm going to go with Joseph Grandy this time. I think Hunter Grand in that 518, he's going to be tough to tame, but the green flag is high. It's ready to fly. Feature racing action is underway. Leaders made contact. Oh, boy, oh, boy. Randy Shreves. He's going to have to tow. That thing would look to be broken. We are going to have to go back and just, well, we kind of saw it all break down live. Let's go to the racing drone camera here. So Randy Shreves looks like he just comes up the track a little bit, gets into the 518, comes down, gets into the 32. Anthony Morano then was struggling. Let's see what ended up happening with him. He'd gotten to the wall again. Through that trouble, but right now I believe the Ant-Man Anthony Morano still, I think he stayed out on the track. Out there in P3, so he does get his spot back. Hopefully there's no significant damage to that 32 as Joseph Grandy now, he's going to inherit the lead by default. He's another one. He got in the wall pretty hard there. Hopefully that right front's okay. But right now, the extra power proven to be hard to handle for some of these guys on the opening start here. Pace lights, I believe, did click off. They look off to me. Single file restart, I'm guessing, since we didn't get a full lap in. As yes, we will be going green this time by. We're going to go back up to the flag stand for this restart as the pace car is off. Joseph Grandy leads us back to the green flag. Let's see if the whole field can behave and make it under the stand. As they do, we're back up front right now. Brian Moore, Sr., trying to see if he can't mount a run on the 518 of Joseph Grandy, but right behind him, Anthony Morano. He's got a lot of speed in that 32. He's going to try to see what he can do. Let's go back here through the field. The 79 of Dean Reynolds looking underneath the 814 of Brad Waite. Can Dino make the move here? Side by side down the front stretch right now. Advantage 514. Here comes the 051 in the basement. 3 wide through 1 and 2 there for a second. Clay Christopherson trying to carry in that full head of steam, but right now Anthony Morano, he's starting to get a mirror full of the salesmen here. Blake Chapman is on his way. He's coming quick. Steve Bixler in trouble there in front of the leaders. He had to pull down to the inside. Superman Kurt Schatzer is as well. They're both trying to get off the track.
Flag is out.
Steve not able to make it in. Gets into the wall there. Caution gonna come out. Let's go back and let's see if we can figure out what happened with these guys. It looked like actually Patrick Spangler may have been involved in this as well. My software is telling me so. Let's follow Patrick Spangler here. Oh, Kurt Schatzer was already slow in front of him. Patrick Spangler then gets bumped from behind. Car looks to be okay. He should be able to keep on rolling, but let's go up and see if we can see what happened to Kurt Schatzer here. Oh, Steve Bixler just gets into the back of him there, going into the corner. Turns him around. That's where Bixler's original trouble came from. Oh, who was that? Was that Bob the Good? All right. Well, we're going to go back. We need to watch this. Bob the Good on the in-car cam here. Hold your breath, Bob. You got cars wrecking in front of you. Parted the seas. Gets a little contact there with the right rear, but able to keep it out of the wall. Bob did good. He went to church this morning, I can tell you that. That was a close one there, and so we lost our controls for a second as we're back live. They're side by side, getting ready to go back to the green flag here. Joseph Grandy at 518 can go anytime now, and he gets a good jump here on the rest of the field. Almost 3 wide already at the line. Let's go back. I believe that was Dean Reynolds in that mess. Yes, he was. In between Clay Christopherson and Pat Boyce. Hold on, Dino. And now it comes out as the man on top here through one lap, able to slide up in front of the 41 of Pat Boyce. Going to shut the door going down the backstretch. Advantage, Dean Reynolds. Brian Moore Sr. here. Ryder McCutcheon on the move. Ryder McCutcheon, here he comes. New kid on the block, trying to find a way around the 32. Ryder slinging that thing right up against the wall here. Letting that thing eat. Really slinging dirt. Looking for a run coming off a 2. Does he have enough room there to fit it in between the 518 and the 32? Not this time. Caution out. Caution is out on the speedway once again. Jeff Kemper, excuse me, involved. Jeff Kemper here in the 181. Who's that? Bob DeGood gets loose coming out of 2, comes down, gets into the 181, and hard ride for the 7 of Bob DeGood. My, oh my. Let's go in the in-car. You know, he got lucky the last time, not going to get lucky this time. It's loose, comes down. Whoa. One more time here. We'll try to get a little better view of that. Comes down here. Violent. Steve Bixler involved once again. Tough break for the mayor. So we should get the one to go back green here this time by, I believe. But when they hang out behind the pace truck like that, not close. It is. If you guys ever listen, please get closer to the pace truck, because it is really hard for me, unless I do this and get a stationary camera, to see that the pace lights are off. I'm not able to see you guys on the same screen. So definitely tighten it up here, boys. As Joseph Grandy will lead us back to the green flag here once again. Good jump for the 518 as Ryder McCutcheon with a pretty good jump as well, all over the back of that 32 of Anthony Morano. Bob DeGood just made his way off a pit road here right in front of the leaders, so this could get a little hairy here. Hold on, ladies and gentlemen. Bob doing a good job of just holding his line, trying to stay out of the way, because the salesman, Blake Chapman, he's running that bottom line. He's down there in the basement. The 32 makes a move here for the lead on the 518 of Joseph Grandy. Side by side at the line. Can't get it done just yet. Anthony Morano with a big send through 1 and 2. Joseph Grandy's got a crack out of the throttle. He tries to look downstairs, but the kid's down there. The new kid on the block, Ryder McCutcheon, he's on the bottom 3 wide. We've got battles all over here. As the salesman, he came out of nowhere to take back over that lead. And, well, there's the Ant-Man, Anthony Morano up top. Joseph Grandy, he's got his hands full right now. Ryder McCutcheon can't get it done this time. We'll go back upstairs here through 1 and 2. We're going to try to mount a big charge here going down the backstretch. He's got a big run. Not enough, though. The 518 goes down and shuts the door. Going to put it up top through 3 and 4. Try to get a big run on the 518. The 518 throws a little block. Big slider by Ryder here.
Caution.
Joseph Grandy counter and back under, and caution is out once again, I believe, for the 79 of Dean Reynolds. Let's see if we can figure out what happened here with Dino. Gets a little sideways. Comes down just a little bit as the 39's coming up hard into the outside wall. Brad Wade involved. And Dean Reynolds. Well, that's gonna be a tough one for him. That's probably gonna put the nail in the coffin there on the 79. It's Patrick Spangler. He's pulling in. I think I don't know if he has damage here or if he EOL'd himself. That guy, he's one of the hardest guys on himself that I know. That's more racing deal than anything. I seriously doubt Dino's upset with him about that. And once he gets a chance to go look at that, I don't think he'll be hanging his head that low. I mean, that's going to happen here. You know, he gets a little sideways, Dino does, and as he's gathering it up, Patrick's still floating up the track, and tough break. Dino, he's the one who's going to pay for it. If you're out there watching, let us know who you're rooting for. Hit that thumbs up button. Hit that subscribe button. Don't miss a show. Run over to Shaggy TV on YouTube. Do the same thing over there. Throw my logo on your race car. Do whatever you have to do. Let's spread the word. Here's Blake Chapman is ready to lead us back to the green flag for hopefully the final time here at Eldora.
Green flag,
9
green flag.
laps to go. Here is the kid. Tries to get it done. Anthony Morano straight to that top shelf here. Big run down the backstretch, but Blake made up so much time on entry. Big move from Ryder. He's trying to take back P3. Got it at the line. Hunter Grand, Joseph Grandy with a slider of his own through 1 and 2. The kid counters back side by side down the backstretch. Can he go 2 for 1? Yes, he can. Late slider on the Ant-Man, but he had enough to get it done. He's in the wall going down the front stretch. Ryder McCutcheon gonna lose both those spots he just worked so hard for. Anthony Morano and Joseph Grandy, the battle still carries on for P2. 6 laps to go here for the kid out front. The young kid, the salesman, Blake Chapman, down there on the bottom, just slowing her down and letting her eat down the straightaway 5 more times around. Ryder McCutcheon trying to throw that thing back up here on the high side. We know this kid's got a hot rod, but just can't put it all together. 4 more times around. Can he get by the 518? Gonna throw it in here into 1 and 2. Big slider. The 518 counters back. Side by side going into 3 and 4. The 518 slides up. Ryder McCutcheon looking to counter back, but can't do it 3 more times around. Anthony Morano here is slowly run down Blake Chapman. And with 2 laps to go, side-by-side battle for the lead. Blake's going to throw it up there and try to park it on him, but Anthony coming back. Contact. Blake in the wall. Oh, no. Blake, it doesn't look like that right front, like that wall contact. And he's got 1 more lap to try to hold on to P2. Joseph Grandy on that top shelf here. His final time through 3 and 4. Anthony Morano gonna take the checkers here at Eldora, followed by Blake Chapman, Joseph Grandy, Ryder McCutcheon, Brian Moore Sr. rounds out the top 5. Man, oh man, Anthony ran him down there in those last couple laps. And boy, did we have a battle here. We're gonna go up to this aerial cam here. So Blake definitely, I mean, he didn't come down a lot, but he did come down a little bit as Anthony, I mean, is trying to make that move. It's not anything, you know, egregious, but definitely, I mean, you can't be mad at Anthony here. He's going for the win. And you see, I mean, Blake comes down ever so slow, so little bit. Anthony has to come back up when they counter, and well, Blake, I mean, I'm sure that put a hurting on the right front, and here at the end he just had to try to play nurse, had to try to nurse that thing back home for a P2, and he was able to do so. I'm sure he wanted to win, but at the end of the day, going to be a good points night here for Blake. Is going to see if we can't give these guys a minute or 2 to catch their breath, and then we'll bring up the 518 of Joseph Grandy. Looks like he actually did just make his way up here. Well, hey, Joseph, Shaggy up here in the booth, man. You got a copy?
Yep, I got you. How you doing?
Pretty good, man. Not as good as you. You seem to have a pretty quick car tonight here. Just, you know, maybe a couple too many wall taps here. I'm sure that thing wasn't running at 100% there at the end.
Yeah, I was kind of just hanging on. I'm not sure what's going on, but I was randomly losing force feedback. So just trying my best to hold on there. And I'm not really sure what happened on the start, but if that was my fault, I apologize to Randy there.
Yeah, no, I mean, you know, I mean, that's going to be one of those you can go back and look at it and have your own. But I didn't put the blame on you. I mean, that kind of looked like maybe Randy came up a little bit. Just, you know how it is, man. You get in the gas and these things, they want to draw right. And sometimes you're not ready for it. And well, luckily, you know, you were able to keep on rolling. Didn't damage you too bad. And, You had a fun battle there with the new kid on the block there, Ryder McCutcheon, man. You got to meet him up close and personal. How fun was that throwing sliders back and forth?
Yeah, first time seeing the kid. Glad we got someone quick in here. It was a blast for sure.
Well, congratulations, Joe, man. Big P3 here to start the season. Hopefully you're running points this year. You're always a contender when you show up every week. But congratulations, man. Who you want to thank?
Catalytic Recovery, West End Towing Repair, all the guys over at In Front of Motorsports, all the guys at Midwest Sim Sports, everyone at Coast to Coast, my girlfriend Olivia. Appreciate you, man, for doing the broadcast.
Well, hey, great job, Joe. This is going to be the first of many of me talking to you this season. Congratulations, man.
Thanks, man.
Joseph Grandy getting P3 here, and now we're going to bring up the man not able to get it done again, stolen away from him at the end. Blake, you looked so fast. What could you have done different there at the end?
I don't know. It hurt me when I got into the wall with about 5 to go there in the inside fence. I don't know, about 10 to go, my dog decided he wanted to come down and start running in my legs for whatever reason. So that didn't help too much. But, yeah, I mean, we got into the wall down there and had a little damage. It just didn't drive as well down there. And I think it might have been going away, too. And I could see Anthony was catching me. I figured he was up top. So those last couple laps, I just tried to go up there and defend. But, yeah, just couldn't get up there in time.
Yeah, I mean, that's just the racing deal. Anthony tries to counter under you there when you go up top, and you guys make a little bit of contact. How was the right front there? Oh, we're actually, I see what you're talking about. You got in the inside wall there through 1 and 2. We're watching it on the replay. Definitely does look like the left front is bent in a little bit, so probably didn't help you there much doing that. But after the hard contact there in the outside wall, how'd the car run? Were you just holding on there that last 2 laps?
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, that was my own fault. I just came down off of 2 more than I wanted to. But yeah, I mean, I could tell the car was struggling a little bit, but I still was doing everything I could to try to catch back up to Anthony. Congrats to him. He ran a really good race. It was really fast up top, especially towards the end. But yeah, just kind of didn't have enough for the damage on the car to catch him in those final laps.
Yeah, man. Well, all in all, and I know it stings a little bit, kid, but 2 podiums, nothing to hang your head about. Congratulations. Who you want to thank?
Yeah, I got to thank the parents for watching. I got to thank all the guys at KSR. I got to thank Preston at Epsilon Sprint Wraps and Andy at AJ Custom Creations. Also Malcolm's Mills Mill Writing. And of course, I got to thank Galen's Gourmet Popcorn. You can head over to their website and check out some of their delicious popcorn. And don't forget to use code CART at checkout for 15% off. And I got to thank you for putting this on.
Well, hey, hell of a job, kid. Good points night, man. Hopefully you can pull off another one this season. Good luck.
I hope so. Thank you.
That's Blake Chapman, your P2 finisher. And, well, now we're going to bring up the man of the hour. Anthony, you stole the show there at the end, ripping the lip. How's it feel to, I mean, let's be honest, you're no slouch yourself, but, I mean, you just went out here and you beat one of the best we have. That's got to feel good.
And I am pumped, man.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Actually,
be honest about it.
This is actually my, I'm pretty stoked up right now. It's my first 410 win, and to get around Blake there, that's definitely no small task amongst itself there. Didn't mean to get into him coming out of 2 there.
Well, I'll tell you, I'm going to interrupt you right there, Anthony. Yeah, I'm going to interrupt you. You got nothing to apologize for there. I mean, the kid, he was just trying to hold you off. He came down. I mean, that was a hell of a job for you not to wreck that thing with all that speed you had. You were flying there at the end. The right guy won this race.
Yeah, I guess all that time I spent practicing for the spring fling in the late models paid off a little bit here at Eldora. So yeah, but wow, I was a blast. Didn't really think I had much of a shot here. I parked it on Grandy a little bit there and coming out I think 2, and definitely didn't mean that, but thought I had more room. Didn't, but it worked out. It sucks I missed the 360 race. We're all supposed to be in a big block race for money tonight, and that canceled. So me, Dean, and Clay hopped over here to run the 410s and paid out.
Yeah, we're watching this replay a little bit. It's back a little further, and I asked Joe about it, and, well, we got a new kid on the block here. What'd you think about that Ryder McCutcheon? I mean, how fun was that battling with him throwing sliders back and forth?
Yeah, it was pretty fun. I've never seen Ryder anywhere in any leagues I've run anywhere, so I really don't know who he is. But, I mean, if he's going to be clean and be able fast and run like that, I mean, that's going to be a blast. The more the merrier.
Yeah, amen, man. That's what we need, more guys to go up here and try to run you down because, man, if you're starting to figure out these 410s, man, Oh, you're going to be at the top of a bunch of hit lists here, Anthony. You're becoming quite the fixture here on the top step of the podium.
I'm trying. I'm not really all that good with the sprint cars. Still learning them more, but I've been more focusing on late models lately. So I missed Sunday night for the opener for that, but we'll see. I'll try to be here for this week. So we'll see how that one goes. And tomorrow's modified day, so we're plugging for that one.
Yeah, man. I'm sure you'll be talking to Marty and I a little bit tomorrow night, but hell of a job here tonight, man. Way to wrap up Flatline Racing Body's Hometown Heroes with a win here in the 410s. First one. Congratulations. Who you want to thank?
I got to thank my wife, Sherry, the boys at FTM, Dean Super Dakar, Logan at High Mom Lens, Gunner Swan Speed Shop, DJ with DJ Sim Shop, MDI TV, Expert Installation, Castleberry Flagstone, Shaggy U for the broadcast, and everyone behind the scenes here at Coast to Coast.
Hell of a job, Anthony, man. You can't do much better than a win on opening night. So your current points leader. Let's see what you can do for the rest of the year.
We can only hope, man. Thanks a lot. I appreciate it.
Yep, big win there for the 32 of Anthony Morano. First career 410 win, and I'll tell you what, it may be the first, but he's going to add to that with the way he drove the wheels off that thing tonight. Patrick Spengler would be one of the first people to tell you, if you can tame here, if you can run that high side like that, and you feel that comfortable to go up here and drive by Blake Chapman, well, the rest of the field, they are on lookout here now for this 32. Got a new guy in town, and, man, that 32, he's going to be the real deal here. You'll watch, this is going to be the pass for the lead, I believe. And the 32, as he counters down, slight contact, you see Blake come down. Slight contact, no harm, no foul there. Blake's knows that's on him, and, well, the 32, he doesn't look back, and he goes on to win here, week number 1. And that's going to do it here for us on the Coast to Coast Racing Network. I am Zach Chapman with Shaggy TV. Make sure you tune back in tomorrow night around 6:45, 7 Eastern. We got Thursday Night Thunder on the card. So always some racing here on the Coast to Coast Racing Network. Hit that subscribe button. Don't miss a thing. I'm Zach Chapman with Shaggy TV. Have a good evening.